So we've learned how to multiply and divide. We've now learned how to add and subtract. Now we're going to learn how to solve when we're dealing with fractions. Okay? So I will do this one in blue. You know it's solving because it's equal sign. We've kind of done this a little bit already. I've hinted to it, but now it's going to be formal. So when you're solving and you look at all these problems, what makes it difficult? The bottom. So eliminate the bottom by multiplying to everything. Okay? And then you're going to solve for x, and then you always have to check for extraneous solutions. Remember, just because you get a solution doesn't mean it works. Okay? So let's start with number 1, and let me zoom in. So here's what I do. Whatever the first guy is, I give it to everything. So I go 4n, 4n, 4n. Because if I give this a 4n, then 4n on top and 4n on bottom is gone. So now that one's not a fraction anymore. That's great. And then I look over here. Whatever the second guy is, I give it to everything. Well, it's the same as the first. So that means this will go away and this will go away, and it won't be a fraction anymore. And then you go, well, should I now give it a 2? No, because 2 goes into 4 2 times. So now that 2 is also gone. So I have eliminated everything on the bottom. By. Now I multiply. So if everything's gone, all I'm left with is 13 plus, oh no, that's an equal sign, equals, I'd not left anything there, that's 1, plus, and I still have that n, which I crossed off a little bit, I have a 2 and an n left, so I'll go 2n, and now I solve for x, minus 1, n equals 6. Now remember what I said, the last thing you have to do is check for extraneous solutions, which means what makes it undefined, which means is there, if I get an answer, could it work? So I just check the bottom. Well, if I plug in 6, I get 24, that's okay. I can get 24 on the bottom, so that's an actual good answer. So n equals 6 and I'm good. Morning.
Ready for real solving?
So let's try the next one. You know this one, as soon as I see a subtraction, change the signs of everything to the right. Do that first. If you don't do it, you'll forget it. Then you'll think the 2 is positive, and then you'll get the wrong answer. Okay? So, now what am I going to do? My goal is to get rid of the bottom. So I'm going to give what I do to 1, I got to do to all. But I don't have a bottom on there. I don't have a denominator, so I'm good. Okay? Well, that is an n, so I give everything an n, and now that dude's taken care of. That's cool. Now, this has an 11n, but I already gave it an n, so all I have to do now is give an 11. Remember, it's all being multiplied.
Attention.
And now, top and bottom, gone. Now that everything is gone, now I can multiply. It's another opportunity to make mistakes. So 11n times 1 is 11n. Really organization. I'm left with the 11 and the 1 right there. That's 11. Doesn't mean I'm still not going to make mistakes, right? Nothing's left here, so now it's minus n, minus 2. And then I solve like I normally would. I'm going to add n. And I'll go 11 minus 2. Divide. Simplify. Check for extraneous. Well, I can put in 3/4 times 11. I don't know what that is. Well, I do. But it's not 0, so I'm good. That's not 0, so I'm good. All right, let's try the next one. Okay, actually, I think I want to try number 4. So we're going to just kind of jump around. All right, multiply to everything. What's the first thing on the bottom? 3a. So 3a, 3a, 3a. Now that's gone. I like to kind of do that for myself. Now here's the deal. This a will get rid of one of these a's, but it won't get rid of both of them. So that means if that was squared, then the a squareds would cancel. So really, I should keep this as 3a squared. The problem is that a squareds would go away, but the 2 wouldn't go away. So that means really now I have to give everything a 2, and a 2. Okay? So that means, now look at this, the 2 would be gone, and the a squared would be gone, and then that would be gone on the bottom. Now this is really 2 times 3, which is 6, but that's 12. So I would have to give it another 2, so that 2 times 2 times 3 is 12a squared. And if you get really good, you'll go, hey, I look, the common denominator from 3, 2, and 12 is 12. And then if I have 2a's, it's 12a squared. 12a squared. Okay? Now I'm actually going to cross things off. So 3a and 12a squared is 4a, because 12 divided by 3 is 4. 2a's on top, 1 on bottom, 1 more on top. Bottom's gone. 12 divided by 2 is 6. A's squareds are gone, so all I'm left with is a 6. 12a squared, all gone. Now I got to write what's left. 4a times 1 is 4a. Now, this one is 6 times 3a, 18a. 6 times 6 is negative 36, okay. And then now I cross everything out here, so I can just rewrite it, plus a plus 11. And then now solve for x. 18a plus a is 19a. Subtract 19a, you get 15a. Negative 36 plus 11 is negative 25. Solve and simplify, divide by 5. 5/3 can be in the denominator, so I'm good to go. Okay. Let's do another one. Let's do number 5. Okay, let's play the game here. Now this one's a little bit different because I could actually factor. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to put a little star here. And there might be a caveat where you have to factor the bottom first. So let me star that and say there might be times when you can factor the bottom in the way beginning, which is different than the other things. So if you look, let me do that. So if you look, I can factor this, 6n minus 7. I can factor this, 6n minus 2, and that I can't factor. So now, when I actually multiply to each thing, I'll start backwards, right? I don't know, I feel like going on the right. If that's an n minus 2, I give everything an n minus 2, n minus 2, n minus 2. Zoom out a little bit. So now that n minus 2 would be gone. If you look over here, it's an n minus 2, so I don't have to give it again. But I have a 6. I'm going to do it vertically, so I don't think it's 6n minus 2. Vertically 6, vertically 6. Now that 6 covers that. The n minus 2 is covered. That's gone. Let's come over here. This is an n minus 7. And I have to give this an n minus 7. And I have to give this an n minus 7. So now the n minus 7 would be covered and the 6 would be covered. Now I got to cross things off. 6 gone, n minus 7, n minus 7. What am I left with? 1 times n minus 2 is n minus 2. Okay. Cross off the 6, cross off the 6. Cross off the n minus 2, cross off the n minus 2. I'm left with 1 times n minus 7, which is n minus 7. Cross off the n minus 2. I'm left with 1 times 6, which is 6, times n minus 7 is 6n minus 42. So now I'm going to simplify. 1n and 6n is 7n. Subtract negative 6n. Negative 7 and negative 42 is negative 49. Add 2 to that, negative 47. I could have made mistakes, but I think you get the idea. N equals 47 over 6. Okay? I'm going to pause it real quick because I need to give you an example that gets a little bit more difficult. One sec. So I wanted to do one more example, and since there obviously isn't very much space here, luckily the back of the packet is blank. So I suggest writing this problem down because this is a very good problem and I like it a lot. Okay? So here's the deal. When I look, remember how sometimes I said you may have to factor first. Not that because that's an x. Not that because that's an x. But if you look here, you can magic x this. Two numbers that multiply to get 8 and add to get 6 are 4 and 2. Okay? Now, some of you go, hey, well, there's an x on top here and an x on bottom here. Can I cross it off? No, you cannot, because this one's being multiplied and this one's being subtracted. They are doing different things. Okay? So let's play the game here. This has an x minus 4. Give everything an x minus 4. That one's now gone. Let's go to the next one. This is an x minus 2. Notice I would like to write it vertically. Okay, my pen's choosing to die now. It did last a long time. So now that one's gone. Then I go to the third one. Oh, well, cool, the x minus 4 is covered. And cool, the x minus 2 is covered. Now that everything is covered to get rid of my denominator, now I'm going to cross off. X minus 4 gone. Distribute, 1x minus 2. I know you don't need the 1, but just for simplicity's sake. Cross off the x minus 2. Now distribute. Plus x squared minus 4x equals. Cross off the x minus 4, cross off the x minus 4, cross it off. Hey, all you're left with is 2. That one wasn't that bad, especially when it's laid out and it's so big. But the difference is this time you have a squared. When you were solving for x, it was like x equals something. But when you have an x squared, you want to set it equal to 0. So that means I'm going to rewrite the x squared. 4x plus 1x is 5x. And then I need to move this 2 over. So minus 4 equals 0. I feel like I did something wrong. So give me a second. I got to find my mistake. I see it. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. All right. Now I want to find two numbers that multiply to get 4 and add to get 3. So I set it equal to 0, and I get x equals negative 1, x equals 4. And I circle it, and I get so excited. But remember what you have to do. You have to check for extraneous solutions. Just because you get an answer doesn't mean it works. If I had 4 and I plugged in 4 here, what's 4 minus 4? 0. Can you have a 0 on the bottom? No. That one's out. Negative 1. Well, that's negative 5. That's negative 3. And that's a number 2. So that means that just because I get an answer doesn't mean it works. Okay? All right, let's go over the homework of what I would like you to do. I would like you to finish this page, homework. And then let's turn the page, and this is just multiple choice. This one you're going to have to do some work. So either you're going to have to multiply this out to get one of these, or you're going to have to factor these out. You're going to need to show work. Factoring, need to show work. This one, you're going to have to show some work. This one, box it out. This one, you can either do long division, synthetic division, reverse box. This one, I would factor. Okay, I would factor. This one, you're not going to be able to factor, so you're going to have to PQ. And this one, I would factor. That's your homework.